be any delay on this if I set up OBS correctly. So I'm waiting. Verification. Waiting. Alright. Twitter is a go. How about verification? Waiting. Alright. That's weird. Well, that should confirm both of those. And now we are going to be working on this lovely little fellow. Alright, my name is Quaz-Aldira. Or at least that's what my channel says. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving this Zebawelb creature right here that I had worked on in the past. You can see some of what it looked like before. This is like an early version. This is a later version because I was like, I like this version, but I made it bigger. And I was working on it some more. I was like, I'm not feeling this. Just look at those arms. They look cool, but I don't know if they will function the way I want them to. That's why I'm going to make some simplified versions of my creatures and then put them through some very simple animations. I have an idea on how that's going to work, even though ZBrush isn't particularly known for complex animations. Something out. I had already started on converting it into a simplified model, going for, you know, something a little more arm shaped. This is, I don't know, broken in several spots. Working up to the fingies here. I do like how they look on the more detailed model, so I think I'm going to try to slim up its pinky. Now, the point isn't really to make this basic version super detailed, because the point is to get it animation ready. All I really need to do for that is get the legs, tails, fingers. But more work in one of those areas than the others. All these are going to be thin. I think the first segment of the finger is all that long. It's got to be at its center for that to... No? Is it just moving to the left or getting smaller? That's a little better. Do tell. I don't like that. It's doing both. Oh well. I feel like this one could be a... Good old sausage fingers. No, I don't like that. It's kind of gotten all warped. I know I should have gone with regular tubes. Maybe I should get some regular tubes. Or I could try just grabbing a very specific thing. Oh well, keep working on it until it works. Not geometry. Subtools. Gimme. Geometry is still on. Wow, the pinky starts really far back on the hand there. Or at least it did. Who's to say whether that way? The answer is me. It'll always be me. Fan out that far? Maybe. Fingers are weird. Maybe I should have gone with my first idea and tried to make a complete finger before doing that step. This is going to mess up the order of things. Subduals. Heavily. In a neutral position. One should be taller and thinner. Kind of upsetting that it's not shrinking in place. And third segment is the nail. And let's make something vaguely nail shaped. But vague, vague. So a better way to make it pointed. Where is it? Accurate. Activate AccuCurve on your move brush. Gives it a tip. Probably want to disable it. I used to have a move AccuCurve brush. Lost it. Create a new one. Probably smoothed it out again. Now this is really too long. Um, this becomes so much more vain when everything is not on the general axes. Build way too long. I make the hand really big. Yeah, I'm gonna end up shrinking this body. I'm not too worried about that. Not too worried. Awkward. It's so unruly. I could always just do this. Kind of hate it. But, you know, it's not the point of this stream. I'm not getting a super realistic nail on the first 10 tries. Or about that later. We just need opposable nuggets. That's what we're here to do. We're gonna oppose them. I shudder to duplicate this horrible thing. a rush job and it's awful. Muffin. Oh wow, they were really big on the base model. Well, hopefully we can just duplicate that over and be done with these two fingers. Turn. Who's to say that's wrong? And then for a slightly similar thumb. It's got two little nubs. Fantastic. And because I like these hands so much, I might end up ripping them off after I confirm all these proportions and then reattaching them to this body. Because that's something I've done in the past. Find something I like I've done before? I redo it, just reuse it. Only have some kind of measuring stick and I could tell the exact proportions of this. But judging by eye, say this is shorter compared to this. Bits were a bit further back. Certainly look like terrifying appendages. Okay, so next should be a pair of hips, these frog-like legs, or I could just do the tail. Yeah, I gotta do something in the center, so duplicate the neck and just place it on it. So it goes by a little bit faster. Third in place. Let's move it a bit. Honestly, the tail is there mostly for show. It's not really going to be moving. But it might. One of the features of a Zebawelb is that it devours lesser demons when it is enraged and low on health. Doing so will heal a little bit and then gain it an ability based on what it's eaten, and depending on what it's eaten, it will transform part of its body to accommodate that ability it's going to be using. That's why out of all the creatures, Zebawelb will probably have one of the more basic body types. But it will also be one of the strongest, most open to change, due to there being a lot of weaker enemies in it. Honestly, that should be fine. If I want to make it look more similar later, then I can do that. Alright, next would be the hips. Let's duplicate these. A feeling that maybe its body should be a bit bigger. Yeah. I'm basically going to be redesigning it anyways, because I didn't like how the eye came out. Well, that and the broken bones. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, I copied some of these, or mirrored and welded them before I activated mirroring, so I guess that makes sense why it wasn't doing stuff. I don't really know if there's as much need for a hip second. Not to insinuate it wouldn't have hips, but more or less that I don't know if they be specifically animated with what I'm doing. Oh well. Arms, first segment of the leg. If I line this up correctly, should be able to shorten. Putting this in the center. Get an overhead view so I can get this angle right. Quite certain how I like. If I like how that looks. It's kind of putting the legs on the back. Then lower this a bit. But then again, I'm not happy with this shape. Why couldn't you stay nice and rounded? I had to go too far. Actually, magnify it. Kind of round it out. It does, it does. In this very specific scenario. I really gotta think here. Kind of base the arms on human forelimbs, if a bit exaggerated. Do I want to change what the legs are going for? This is a little weird. Nope, right. I still got magnify on. Back to move. Okay, I think what's bothering me is this should be a lot smaller. Hip sockets. Plant these in there. There. Then instead of the next leg segment going like straight down, get this. Have it going back. Instead of that kind of foot, kind of make it a heel. Do 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 do. I can see some reshaping. Crazy how much that resembles, at least from this angle. I'm not super into these big lobbles. Architect. Not certain I get what that means. Brenda Bennett. Maybe I should keep the weird legs. No, not even a short search provides me the answers. shouldn't be facing. And I guess I could, but not like that. Okay, I think we have dynamic perspective about right. And now I just need to figure out what I want to do with these legs. Honestly, I think they should rotate much further up than they do. Then I'll give it a chance to adjustments here. Not satisfied with how that looks. Consider this a bone. Gotta theater of the mind this for 1 second. Hmm. So much thicker. I'm harping way too much on its appearance. Good night is supposed to be about function over form. Yeah, it was definitely meant to have this weird bridge. So let's make a weird bridge. And we just create 4 unseemly toes. Kind of would like to just copy the hand stuff, but honestly, toes are much simpler, so maybe just bring 1 digit over. Ugh. It's so far away from where I need it. Alright, we've been live for 44 minutes. We've gotten so far. Remember when we used to only have arms? Well, I mean, everything except the fingers, legs, and tail. That's where we started tonight. I apologize for being slow. I need to get used to doing stuff like this more often. Terrible toe. Horrible. Um, Hello, 3D environment. Work with me. With me. So jarring. I just checked. Toes also have 2 joints. But honestly, I think I could get away with the second joint just being the claw joint. Move over a claw. Smallest. Oop. Now to place these. Uh-oh. Copy, write me. Something that could happen, probably. It's not cool. Should come up with my own notes. That'd be pretty cool. Am I ever waiting for me to finish at least one thing? I gotta go to the source to ban that. Right? How did I ban them last time? Yeah, kinds of bugs. Oop. Take their note off Twitch. Now I just removed it from catalogs. Very well. Alright. I think ready to try some animations on this. And the only things we don't have tongue. I think I can add that real quick. I just noticed. Probably should pull up. So that may not have been pulled up for a reason. More or less pulling up. I should pull the interior down so that it forms that lip. Such a big mouth. Okay. Make a save. $45. Then what I'm going to do is make another save. But after deleting all the stuff that I'm not going to need for the animation test. So, I was shown this recently. Shift escape gets rid of everything. Or hides everything. Alright. Start deleting stuff. Now I gotta need these extra copies. Will still be there in my other files. Start revealing body parts. Old teeth. Delete the old Zebawelb. Delete this old head. Delete these old gazers. And delete the old Z model. Alright. Now everything should just be the model that we intend to animate. Oh wow. That's pretty. Alright, Zebawelb, animation test. Feel everything. Alright, this will be our frame of reference for the entire model. And then on each of these other visibility tools, I'm going to only reveal like certain parts. I'll have one for each major section of the body. But I'm gonna step away a second to use the restroom. Then I'll be right back. Alright, so first step, I'm going to create all these different major parts. Start with the head. So only the head will be visible on these. And I guess the neck would be fine. Then on the next one, let's hide everything except the arms. Oh, actually it is going to be important to separate all the arms and fingers. I duplicated the job to make it a lot easier to get to this point, but everything is going to have to come apart. Okay. Head, neck. Honestly, it might be worth it to just put everything together. So let's actually move head, neck. Part should be the body after the neck. Shoulders. Arms. Okay. This is the fun part. Want that for my information. That sounds suspicious. That is. Oh well. So, how do I do this? I know one way to do it, but anyway. Can I get rid of the weld? An easy way to do that? Complete by symmetry. Pain in the butt. That's why we do it this way first. Okay. Continue putting them in the right hierarchy first. This is gonna drive me crazy. I should name some of these. The top! Ugh. Maybe I should put something blank at the top to eat the file name, because it wants to name the subtool that. There. Let me put in the tongue. Right shoulder, and I did not delete by symmetry here. See. Let's see. Pinky. That would be the ring. Alright, so now we're going to grab them one by one and rename them, and then put them in their proper place. Right ring claw. Man, this is gonna look so dope, guys. Just wait until I'm done with all this important documentation stuff. It's gonna be so cool. You could follow along at home on your own. Please, no steal. I wish to make this my livelihood. I'll get better at it, I swear. No, it's not really a knee. I'm gonna call it a knee, like it's a knee. Some kind of weird third leg joint. But what's this? Oh. Blanking on the name here. No, layman's terms. I'm not a doctor. The choice between calf and chin. I say calf. Like a cow. Oh wait, is this one? This is mostly in the right. Oh boy. They're not names for the other two toes. I guess this would make this the right ring toe. Yeah. Oh wait, that's a claw. Call this one the big toe. Well. Documentation. Oh, this shall be invisible. That ball get added to this? Nope. Alright. Now that everything is properly named, now I can hide all this stuff. Make this one just the body and body. Gotta think about how I want to do this. I think I'm gonna keep the shoulders. Like, have each part and then the part it connects to. Alright, let me think about how I want to divide this. I'm gonna have the entire thing followed by head, followed by. Could have one for each arm, each. No, I only have 8. The world is that? Each limb, each pair of limbs. Head, body, right arm, left arm, tongue? I don't know. 8th would be. But I gotta go through and duplicate all the parts that I just named. Do this from the top. Then I think I could. Got the duplicate. Am I able to deformation it to the other side? No, I can just mirror it. Okay, so we got a strategy. Rename. Doing this on stream. so I can have an animatable figure. There is an option that allows me to open up 2 windows at once. Probably make this go by a little faster and then closing and opening. Want to be able to open up more. I have deformation. Ugh, but they're still so big. I just need to see the mirror option. That's all I need. Oh, I haven't. Rename. Oh, elbow. There. Then reposition it. Name. Ba-doo-ba-doo. Hierarchy. Boom. Arrow. Here. Oh, did I not duplicate that? Name. There. Then move it. And I gotta move the right pinky back. Ah. Right, duplicate first. Rename. Oh, pinky. Name. Put it in its place. And we do this like a lot more times. Sorry. Oh, I sounds in my ear. Oh, it's gonna be worth it. It's so gonna be worth it. Imagine if I got a single animation done tonight. That'd be great. But I think for once I'm putting my effort in the right place. It may be monotonous, but if I can get what I envisioned done, that'll be super cool. I like the results. Place. Ugh. Increase the visible count. I have to adjust every time I want to mirror something. I'm trying to avoid that. Dang. Note to self, make creatures that don't have hands. Well, you give them wings, they have a lot more parts than that. Sound idea. I approve. I mean, they can have more. Duplicated this, right? Rename album to its place. Mirror name. Aim. Bell hip. Goes above the tail, so honestly it's the bottom and then up one, so that's easy. Paint. Mirror. I didn't read it. I didn't mirror the other one. The stakes are nigh. Mirror rename. Mirror rename. Say it out loud. You won't forget, probably. Mirror rename. Move down. One. Okay. I was just looking at the wrong thing. I was like, what? I did not name that the ring toe. Oh boy. Yeah, that doesn't need the number one. Put it in its place. Here, rename. Put it in its place. Duplicate. Mirror. Rename. Put it in its place. Put it in its place. Okay. Actually, go back. Flip it. Touch something. Rename. Oh, big toe. Toe can be bigified later. And finally, the claw. Game. Alright. So. And yeah, okay. Little top. Everything's visible from there. Now except opponents down there. Okay, one. Didn't put that left knee in its place. Alright, now that all that's done. Feel the body on this. I want to see what it's connected to. so that the neck movements aren't too egregious. Or maybe that's the entire point. Okay, next visibility set. I think I'll keep the shoulders on there. They shouldn't move too much. Shoulders and hips on that. Then for this next bit, going to have the right arm. And if I had my way, I'd literally have the rest of this just be like I'd have the fingers on their own visibility sets. Feel all of the arm. Hide the other arm. Then go down to the leg. Oops. I did this wrong. I revealed and hid the arm on the same visibility set. Okay. Okay. Create a little extra work, but I vote. Just gonna go right through this arm. And then start with the other arm. And go right through and delete the leg. And for this one, that leg again. Oops, I started. Got through that fast. Alright, now if I've done everything right, full body, the head and neck, body, just the right arm, just the left arm, just the right leg, and then the left leg. Save the animation test file again. And now we can start actually animating. Don't know how far we'll get. Probably get tired pretty soon. Giant thing is to stop at 11 for that. But what we're going to do for the movie timeline. Then decide what we want to animate first. I think we should go for a walk cycle first. So thinking how to do this. Actually, I think it might be worth looking up if there's any way to rig this. Obvious is arm is going to extend forward. These points to rotate. When its arm extends out, it's going to be reaching. Oh, I'm gonna have to hide everything each time. But I think I could do it. Arm is pretty close. any? So apparently there is some form of breaking in. Transpose master. File again. Consider this as a posable mesh? Well, let's see what it does. But how do I work the transport? How do I work this? I may have to look up a guide for this. Looks cool. And then all that work I made visibilities for is gone. It's gone. So I just split it into parts again? Bet I can make this a Z-sphere rig? Is that? Oh. Because I know how to move Z-spheres. Goodness, if I can get that, that would be perfect. Alright, I'm gonna look up a video real quick. I think I have to get whole again, so let's make it a T-pose mesh again. Wait, I already had a T-pose mesh. Delete this one. Leave this? No, it won't leave. Okay. Oh, that's not right. Ugh. Kind of a problem. Alright, delete this and create the T-pose mesh again. Why not? Roll eyes. Watch the animation happen. It's T-pose, sub T-bone. Oh well, what normals has a video. I'm sure they could teach me something.
Hey guys, Henning and Morten from Flip Normals here. In this video we're going to check out how you can effectively pose your characters in ZBrush. There are plenty of ways of doing this. You can do this just through traditional masking and just moving your stuff around, but we found that the most elegant and effective way is using Z-spheres through the Transpose Master tool. This is a really quick way, and it's very similar to the way rigging works in traditional 3D software, where you're actually setting up a proper rig. You're setting up a skeleton. So the way we use this is we go under C plugin, and we have the Transpose Master. Before you do this though, you need to make sure that your model, in this case, has multiple subtools. So we have a pair of eyes here, and we have the body. So you click the C-sphere rig button. This doesn't do anything directly, but the moment we hit this one, T-pose mesh, everything is going to be converted to a transpose mesh. It's going to be merged and go into the lowest subdivision level.
Gotten to that step.
So if we have C-sphere rig enabled and we hit this one, we're going to see that we're now in the lowest subdivision, and it has been merged. And on the bottom here, we have a little C-sphere. So in terms of where we're placing our rigs now, we generally use the move tool here just to move it around, and we place this at the root here, which is around where the hips are. Enable symmetry, just so it will be in
Why don't I have a
centralized.
Z-sphere?
And then we look at a skeleton here. This is generally how we place, or how we know where to place stuff. This is important due to
So I gotta hit Z-sphere before I do the Transpose Master? Oh boy. Try this again. Oh, that's what I got wrong. Well, look, it just splashed through everything. Okay, now we have our C-sphere. Alright. Continuing on with the
You need to
lesson.
know where stuff articulates from.
It kind of makes sense just to do it like a regular skeleton, because, you know, in this case it's a human, so you want to place it where the bones actually are.
Yeah, you want to be as true as possible to the original articulation. So with that said, let's start placing some joints here. I use the hotkey Q just to go into draw mode and W to go into move mode. You can click here to make another. I click on the chain to make another C-sphere, and then we can just move this down. I prefer to make my draw radius as small as possible, just so that it doesn't influence any of the other ones.
Yeah, if you make it completely, if you make it 1, then you only affect the one C-sphere that you're currently touching.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice.
Ah! I gotta do it again. Alright, I think I get the gist of it.
If you hold on the shift key, you can snap through different views in ZBrush as well, which I find to be quite handy when doing this.
And you can make this as advanced or simple as you want. Maybe you just want a quick pose.
Yeah.
When the legs out, the arms up, or whatever. It's just a quick pose to just, you know, get you back into sculpting. Or you can make it super advanced with having all the finger joints available, you know, curl the fingers exactly how you want to.
Yeah.
It's a very useful tool.
Yeah, exactly. More than saying, I use this a fair bit just for concept sculpting, if I just need to pose my characters up, but also for more advanced things as well, where you need to actually spend some more time on the pose.
Yeah, I did a Marvelous Designer tutorial a while back where we actually used this exact base mesh, and she was posed with C-spheres as well.
Yeah,
it's just super quick.
It's so much quicker than doing traditional rigging, because this is also far less technical. If you gotta do traditional rigging, you gotta know so many more things.
And the advantage of this is that you can just keep it all in ZBrush, and you can keep it with your mesh that has subdivision levels already, and everything will just transfer to your mesh.
Yeah. It's really quite a useful tool. So we're not going to go too crazy here with the hands, because this just takes too much time for this tutorial. We're not going to bore you with that. But if you want to do this properly, you just drag it out like you do the body, and you just articulate it like this. You essentially put C-spheres where you want the areas to articulate from.
Adjusting.
So this is a pretty decent base. So let's test this out. Let's see if this would actually work. This is very much a first pass. It's just so we can see where the error is going to be. So if we go under Tool, all the way on the bottom here, we have one called Rigging. And if we hit Bind Mesh now it's you haven't really got a message or anything, but now it's been bound to it. So now we use the Rotate tool here, and then we can start rotating stuff around. You don't want to use the Move one, because then you can see that you might just accidentally move stuff all the way over here, which gets a bit crazy. So you generally just want to rotate the joints around here.
Just treat the joints as they are, you know, regular joints.
Yeah.
So you can see we're having some deformation issues here and there.
I think it's fine.
No, oh yeah, regular human anatomy. This can be super easily fixed just by adding supporting C-spheres to sort of keep the volume intact. You kind of got to think about it as like, it's not a traditional skeleton. You know, we need something like a rib cage potentially, but it doesn't have to look like a rib cage. We just have to have C-spheres in place to take over the deformation for, like when we're rotating the arm, obviously we don't want the entire torso to move.
Yeah. So once this is in the bind mode, you can just disable this, and then we can add additional joints. So specifically what Morten was talking about here is, as you can see that once we rotated the arm up, the rib cage is going a bit crazy. So what we can do, first thing I'll do is I'll actually add some additional joints into the spine, just so we get nicer deformation for that. But then we can just actually build a rib cage here. A super ghetto rib cage.
Yes, you know, this is what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to represent an actual rib cage.
No.
It just has to, you know, have the volume and you know, take over for, let's say, the arms in this case.
Yeah, exactly. Because in traditional rigging, you would just paint weights here, but we don't really have that ability in ZBrush. So
this is your way of controlling the weights.
Yeah. I also find that when it comes to getting sharper deformation around the joints here, you might want to add a joint here and a joint there. just so you have a triple joint, or you can add one here, and you can add one.
Work.
Let's see if this works.
I think it does. Assign each of
Something
these,
is a bit tricky, and you can add a joint here. So this is generally works fairly well for volume preservation. So let's see if this works better now. Again, hit bind mesh, and then we can do this. Oh, use the rotate tool. So now you can see it works slightly better. We can add more of these. If you want this to be pretty much perfect, or as perfect as you can go, you can just keep adding these out here. So let's just try and see if there are any other ways of doing this. If there are any other areas which requires more. So for the head, we'll probably need a jaw.
You probably need like a mouth joint.
Yeah, something like this. And if you want to deform the areas, if you want to deform certain areas, you definitely need joints there. For instance, the hands here.
Yeah.
If you want to deform all the fingers, well, you just need to make joints or C-spheres for all the fingers. So once you're happy with your layout here, you can go to, again, bind mesh, and now we can start to actually pose this guy up. And I'm not too concerned about errors like this, because we can always just sculpt those out afterwards.
But you know, if you wanted to be particular about it, you could add more joints and fix the difference.
Might have missed some information, so I'm gonna. Well, that'll say. Yeah, I need to finish the fingers. Oh, another bat. Okay, I was putting Z-spheres in these hands. Okay, I gotta watch the video to see how they made the bones correlate to the specific. That'll change things depending on how it's done. Alright. Pull up the video again.
Information there
I used the hotkey to actually spend some more time on the pose.
is that you can just keep it all in ZBrush, and you can keep it with your mesh that has subdivision levels already, and everything will just transfer to your mesh.
Yeah, it's really quite a useful tool. So we're not going to go too crazy here with the hands, because this just takes too much time for this tutorial. We're not going to bore you with that. But if you want to do this properly, you just drag it out like you do with the body, and you just articulate it like this. You essentially put C-spheres where you want the areas to articulate from. So this here is a pretty decent base. So now you haven't really got a message or anything, but now it's been bound to it. So now we use the rotate tool here, and then we can start rotating stuff around. You don't want to use the move one, because then you can see that you might just accidentally move stuff all the way over here, which gets a bit crazy. So you generally just want to rotate the joints around here.
Just treat the joints as they are, regular joints.
Yeah.
So you can see we're having some deformation issues here and there.
I think it's fine.
No, oh yeah, regular human anatomy. This can be super easily fixed just by adding supporting C-spheres to sort of keep the volume intact. You kind of got to think about it as like, it's not a traditional skeleton. We need something like a rib cage potentially, but it doesn't have to look like a rib cage. We just have to have C-spheres in place to take over the deformation for, like when we're rotating the arm, obviously we don't want the entire torso to move.
I just wonder why that's
so
slow.
once this is in the bind mode, you can just disable this, and then we can add additional joints. So specific.
But honestly, that is cool seeing it move like that. Little concerning. Alright, let's stop the movement. Unbind it, see if we can. The only way to fix it is to I don't really want the head to deform, I just want it to kind of move. If I do it like this, is it going to deform? It's going to deform a bit. Why is half of a head just... It doesn't make sense to me. Stays even that way. Like I can do some animation stuff like this. It won't be as perfect as I want, because... Oh man. Those janky hole movements. But it'll be at least better than what I was going to attempt to do. that in place. Do I have to... How do I save this T-pose stuff? Do I have to save it as a project? I probably have to save it as a project. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this one. Shouldn't need it. Save this one, because it has the body and all that effort we put into separating everything. So I think when I open this up tomorrow night, or possibly in between, I'm going to do some small tests to make sure everything bound correctly with the T-pose, and then I'll start doing some animation tests coming up with a walking cycle, make it do some attacks. And then get a bunch of cool stuff, then I'll move on to the next one and do that until I have all, what was it, 21 baddies? 3 per area? Something like that. But yeah, what I've learned tonight, after painstakingly modeling this, it's cool. Now I do wonder, I'll have to test this next time, if when I put it through T-pose mesh, whether it will separate duplicated geometry so I can animate it separately. But it's not neither here nor there. That's stuff for next time. But I'm happy where we got. Seriously kind of sick. And if I want more degrees of motion, I can definitely do that. Alright, I've been Quasaldera. I am going to save. I'm gonna have to look it up real quick. Alright, I will open up this project tomorrow. How long did I spend on this stream? 1 hour and 8 minutes. That doesn't sound right. I really don't know when this started. Oh well. I've been Quasaldera, and tomorrow night let's animate a Zebawelb. Woo! Alright. Good night, everybody.